Um jogo onde vai ser os dois times querendo buscar a vitória em todo momento, com grandes jogadores. E eu espero que a gente possa fazer um maravilhoso jogo. A gente está buscando sempre melhorar, sempre fazer o que o Mister pede e entrar bem em todos os jogos, porque a gente sabe que agora não tem margem para erro. No último jogo, a gente saiu perdendo e custou a gente chegar no segundo gol. Então, a gente sabe que um mínimo erro vai ser muito difícil. Então, a gente tem que seguir bem, seguir trabalhando como a gente fez em todos os jogos. E mesmo se acontecer isso de sair atrás, fazer o que a gente fez no último jogo, manter a calma, manter a tranquilidade e buscar sempre a vitória, porque a gente sabe que agora é mata-mata, então a gente tem que matar e é matar ou matar.
Two brilliant games on Sunday, Brazil, Norway, and then Mexico and England in the nightcap. We want to focus, guys, on this match between Brazil and Norway. In the overall, I think Brazil came into this tournament without really status as favorites for the first time in quite some time. I think we talk about Brazil and the stars above the crest, and we think this is going to be one of the teams that can win it. Do you think they've changed your mind as maybe being from that second tier to being a top-level contender for this tournament?
Well, I think this is going to be the game or one of the games that decides that. I think that actually this is the game that starts having that conversation and changes my mind, because I still have questions about the Brazilian national team. And most World Cups, I never have questions about them, except as of late, they've gotten knocked out at quarterfinals, and that's kind of been a bit of their bogey round. But this is an opportunity for certain players and a certain manager in Carlo Ancelotti to really make a statement at this World Cup. What we saw from Brazil in that first half, or maybe even first 60 minutes against Japan, is you can get at them, you can frustrate them, and that midfield is brittle as Wafers Crisps. And that's pretty damn brittle at times. But I give them this, that they found ways to come up with solutions. And big players like a Casemiro, although he's looked vulnerable defensively, he's come up with big tackles. He's also come up with a massive goal with the headed goal he got. And of course, there's a one Vini Jr. who stepped up significantly, who has looked more like the real deal at this World Cup. And for me, with this Brazilian national team, I know people are talking about Endrick. I know people are hoping to see a Neymar. I was disappointed not to see Neymar in the previous match, but this seems like this is Vini Jr.'s World Cup to truly announce himself even more for La Seleção fans.
What do you make of the job he's done so far, Vincius Jr?
Oh, he looks like he wants to take responsibility and be the main man for Brazil. Okay, you can point to the match against Haiti, or Scotland, I should say, where Scotland were dreadful, and they gifted him some of the goals. But
say that one more time.
Scotland were they were pretty crap. We'll have to say that. But apart from that, not to put our Scotsman friend to the sword, but I was worried about Vini Jr. in qualifiers, because he seemed like, even though Brazil were looking for who was going to be that next person to fill the void for Neymar, he seemed like he didn't want the pressure. Carlo Ancelotti at one point gave him the number 10 jersey and tried to put him in the middle of the field, tried to put him in different spots, and he seems to have found a home with this sense of freedom that Ancelotti's given him. And I think Carlo Ancelotti said, give me the effort to press a bit more. Give me the effort, the first effort from a defensive standpoint. Be yourself. Go dribble past a handful of players. If you lose the ball, we have other players that will cover for you. But he's playing with a sense of freedom that I haven't seen him play for. We didn't see at Copa America. We didn't see through qualifiers. I think we're now starting to see at the World Cup. And it shows in the number of goals he scored. I mean, in the group stages, he was the main man for Brazil, and he needs to be the main man once again against Norway.
I think they need to take it to another level, Brazil, if they're to have any success. And that includes getting past Norway. You need to be taking your opportunities in front of goal. I want to see more shots from them. They're averaging about 15 shots, something like that, per game. I think if you go over the 4-game period, it's the lowest on record that they've had over 4 games in a FIFA World Cup in over 25 years. So what is it about this Brazil team? Like, what's lacking? Now, there is an immense amount of talent that they have in their group. Obviously, Vincius Jr. is one of them, and he deserves to get his credit. But I still want to see more from him. I still want to see more goals. Bruno Guimaraes has been quietly successful for them. He's got 4 assists already in this World Cup. I didn't even have a clue that they were in Scotland's group. I watched every Brazil game. I had no idea that Bruno Guimaraes had 4 assists. I think only Pelé in 1970 had more assists. He had 6 assists, which is crazy to say, in 1970. But quietly, they've got players performing. But I still want to see them make more noise. This is Brazil. This is the FIFA World Cup. We're talking about Morocco and France and England. Even Mexico are getting more headlines than this Brazil team. You know, where's the statement from Brazil? They need to make a statement. Erling Haaland and all these roars out there are making so much noise, the Viking roar. Now's the time to put them to the sword a little bit. Sorry, pun intended.
Whoa.
But now's the time to put them to the sword. If you're going to make a statement, you've got to do so in big games like this. But easier said than done. You're coming up against the Norway side that are actually a very good side. They're a team that concede a lot of goals and also score a lot of goals, right? We've seen them be, punished heavily against France in their group stage. They've conceded 8 goals already in the competition, but they've scored a lot, right? And they've scored enough to get themselves through to the stage and created some sort of history. And I think they're relying so heavily on, obviously, the goal scoring and the creation. Martin Odegaard's been exceptional. Absolutely brilliant. But I always think it comes down to Erling Haaland when it comes down to big games. I just want to make one point about what they've done, obviously, offensively, especially with Odegaard in his creation. It's been fun to watch, very pleasing on the eye. But let's not forget that over this period of time getting qualification through the group, Norway actually put themselves into a position where they could rest their best players against France. So no Erling Haaland and no Odegaard. Those 2 players had 1 game, obviously, to go through to get to this point in the knockout stage, which means that they played 1 game in 13 days. So you've got Erling Haaland and Odegaard rested, ready to rock and roll. You've got a guy who's scored, I think it's 13 consecutive games, 25 goals in 13 consecutive games. This is going to be a challenge for Brazil. I hate to say that it's coming from Norway, but with Erling Haaland and Martin Odegaard, they are 2 of the best players, I think, at this competition. And if they turn it on, Brazil could be in trouble,
And that 1 game that they played was indoors as well. The one thing you will say, though, it has been very hot in the northeast of the country, which is where the game will be played, a 4 p.m. kickoff from MetLife in New Jersey. So Norway are going to have to be ready for the conditions. And for more on this game, let's bring in our gambling expert, John Buckets Eimer, who is live with us now. And Buckets, what do you have for us on this match in terms of your 3 best bets for Norway against Brazil?
Got 3 best bet for you guys, but first of all, Ian Paul Joy, I love you so much. You just built up everything I was about to say, and you're going to make me look smarter than I actually am, because bet number 1, we don't trust Norway's defense. As Ian said, they've conceded 8 goals already, so why would we expect them to fix that against a Brazil side who has better attacks than what they've been dealing with? Both teams are scoring over 2.5 goals at plus money. Yes, please, plus 110. I will take that regardless of Norway's opponents, because they're going to have to score goals knowing how much their defense has been struggling. I think we're going to see at least 4 goals in this game. So I'm expecting this to hit maybe even in the first half if we want to get crazy with it. But bet number 2, Erling Haaland anytime goal scorer. I believe Ian said he scored in 13 games straight now, 25 goals over 13 matches. He is just inevitable at this point. It doesn't matter where he is on the pitch or what's going on. He's going to find that goal, and I'm going to take him if we ever get him at plus money. And at plus 130, it's definitely worth a stab for me. And then the big one. I don't know if y'all can smell that, but I smell some upsets in the water taking place tomorrow. I think we're going to see not just 1, but 2 upsets, which I can say now that none of our English friends are in studio. I expect Mexico to advance, but I also expect Norway to advance at plus 180. I have heard you guys talk about to death how this Brazil squad is just not what they're used to seeing when they're wearing the yellow jersey. It is not the Brazil of old, and they're struggling to find consistency, even though some of their players like Vini and Bruno have been amazing. I think this is the one opportunity that Norway have to find that blood in the water and to go for it and to make something incredible happen and advance. So make sure you're betting responsibly. It's a little bit crazy here, but I like Norway at plus 180 to advance.
Ooh, hey, Buckets, real quickly, you just said there was a possibility of hitting that over 2.5 and both teams to score. Over 2.5 in the first half.
Ooh.
It's plus 484, which you just said right there, something interesting. You also said something controversial that maybe stirred up our group a little bit here, that Norway's going to knock Brazil out. I back my boy.
You do?
I back my boy, John Buckets.
Buckets, reach with the left hand. What's in the cup, man? Because you're definitely drinking. What's in the cup?
Please don't get him to pick up any beverage. We saw what happened already.
Vini Jr. is going to go up against Pedersen.
You think Brazil are going to knock Norway out?
I think so.
I don't.
I think it's the statement game. I think it's going to be the statement win.
Norway will knock Brazil out of this competition.
Gabby going against Erling Haaland.
And you just already said that Brazil haven't necessarily turned you on yet.
Because they haven't played their best midfielder. Danilo Santos is coming in. He's going to be a game changer. Keep an eye on him.
All right.
All right, Buckets, with the preview for the match tomorrow between Brazil and Norway. Thank you so much for joining us.